As Prime Minister Narendra Modi touches down for his two-day visit in Abu Dhabi, there is a lot of anticipation, but the big highlight will be Ahlan Modi, a big event which is likely to take place in a stadium, and also the inauguration of a Hindu temple, which is the largest Hindu temple in the Middle East. With me is Indian ambassador to UAE. Sir, let me begin by asking you the big highlights. What's on Prime Minister Modi's itinerary in those 24 hours that he's going to be here?
It's going to be a very elaborate visit. Two of the main elements you've already mentioned, Ahlan Modi as well as inauguration of the BAPS Mandir. But of course, there will be a bilateral meeting with His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed in Abu Dhabi. You would have also heard about Prime Minister addressing the World Government Summit as the guest of honor. That's another big one.
Let's talk about the events first. Ahlan Modi. Over 50,000 Indians, I believe, are expected in it. The Indian diaspora has been very, very active in the Middle East, particularly in the UAE. What are the expectations of that event?
The UAE is home to more than 3.5 million Indians. And as far as Indian nationals are concerned, perhaps this is home to the largest Indian community anywhere in the world. They are all very keenly looking forward to Prime Minister's visit and also Ahlan Modi event. Ahlan in Arabic means welcome. And this is a welcome which is really coming from the heart of the Indian community here. They have been preparing for this event for some time now. And when the registration was started, I must share with you that there was a deluge of people showing their interest in attending the event. But when the number crossed 65,000, the organizers had to just stop registration because they could not accommodate more than that number. So they're looking forward to that. Indian community here is looking forward to the BAPS inauguration as well. Not only the community here, but I think the whole of India and the diaspora across the world.
Yes. I want to understand from you, what makes this BAPS Hindu temple so unique? Because there are 3 Hindu temples in UAE already.
You're right. There are already some Hindu temples here, but what makes it very special is the fact that this is one temple which comes out of the vision of the leaders. When Prime Minister Modi first visited the UAE in 2015, this mandir was announced by the leaders. And after that, there's been consistent progress on this in spite of COVID, and today the temple is completed. That's one. Second is the scale of this temple. It's massive. It's the largest Hindu temple in this part of the world. And also the involvement of the Indian community here, the support of the UAE government. UAE government has gifted about 27 acres of land for the temple construction and all facilitation right from the initial announcement to its completion. And I'm sure it will continue. So it's very special in that sense. For us, and in fact, if you look at it, although our relationship has been historical, this temple is a symbol of the centuries of the social, economic and cultural connect between Bharat and the Gulf. It is an oasis of peace, harmony and tolerance in this country. And that's why people from all walks of life, from all faiths are there. They've been participating in the temple construction process.
There's a lot of personal investment which seems to have gone in this relationship between India and UAE, which has been done by the Prime Minister himself. There's a lot of warmth which was on display also recently when Mohammed bin Zayed visited Gujarat. There was a road show which we saw. And so I want to understand from you, do you think this is because of that personal connect which Prime Minister Modi does? And how has this changed from pre-2014 era?
When Prime Minister Modi first visited the UAE in 2015, it was after a gap of 34 years. The previous visit of Indian Prime Minister was in 1981. There was a huge gap. And since 2015, tomorrow's visit is going to be the 7th visit. There is no doubt a strong personal bond between our leaders. There's a strong friendship, strong brotherly relations between the two leaders, and that's how you see this relationship being transformed in the last 9-10 years. It couldn't have happened unless the leaders themselves had directed and guided this relationship.
And what we are also seeing is that despite COVID challenges, there was no stopping of this relationship or halting of this relationship, particularly the CEPA, which is the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which was inked during the COVID times. What is the development on that front? And I also want to understand the corridor. How far have we moved on that?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned COVID, because COVID was a testing time for the world. And it was during that time that the strength of our relationship came out loud and clear. India and the UAE actually set up a food bridge, because India provides food security to a large extent to the UAE, as much as the UAE provides India energy security. There were evacuation flights. The air bubble, if you recall, I mean, many people might have forgotten, that was there to take Indians to the safety of their homes in India, and also bring them back to join their work again. So that was a testing time, and this relationship really stood out. After that, in fact, not after that, during that, CEPA was negotiated in barely 88 days, and that laid the edifice of a new generation of our economic engagement. Within 2 years of that, most likely we'll sign the bilateral investment treaty during the Prime Minister's visit. So this relationship has strengthened, deepened in terms of economic engagement, but also in other areas like fintech, for instance. In the last visit of Prime Minister Modi in July, our countries signed an agreement on settling trade in local currencies, the dirham and the Indian rupee, which is a remarkable thing. And when it happens between two major trade partners, it has huge significance.
And Ambassador Sudhir, UAE is a very crucial, or if I may say, vital cog in the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. What is the movement on that front?
First of all, I want to say that one of the very concrete and positive outcomes of the G20 summit chaired by India was the announcement of the IMEC corridor. So the first two countries are, of course, India and the UAE. The UAE was a special invitee of India during G20 summit. Plans are taking shape now, and I think it's very important. The importance of the corridor is actually underscored by the fact that there is need for alternate supply routes. If you look at happenings in the region, that vindicates the existence of IMEC, and I'm sure it will become a reality sooner than later.
Ambassador Sudhir, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV.